What's up guys, we're gonna BroBeatzTV, and today I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make a trash beat. Now I often show you guys how to make good beats or whatever type of beat you want, but I think it's important to understand how to make a trash beat. So let's go ahead and hop into this. Looking for a deeper learning experience? Check out our courses over at Producer Portal, and if you're new to producing, the Ultimate Beginner course is perfect for getting you up to speed with the rest of us. Now let's jump back into the video. So first things first is we're gonna need our melody. So when you're making trash beats or you just start out making beats, one of the first plugins you might get is Citrus or 𝗗𝗙𝗣𝗘𝗥𝗏. A lot of you may remember this plugin, 𝗗𝗙𝗣𝗏𝗙 here. So I picked this sound because typically when people are making things like this, they start off with sounds and they don't really understand sound selection. So we're gonna start with our melodies first. Let's go into 𝗗𝗙𝗣𝗏𝗙, and we don't really need a scale because at this point we don't even know what a scale is. We don't even know what music theory is yet, right? We're just trying to make some fun beats. So we're gonna go ahead and we can just kind of throw some stuff in there, okay? And typically you're gonna want a melody that looks something like this, right? So we can kind of do it's already sounding pretty good. So I think something like this, right? Because you can't just discredit your ear, right? Like you want something that sounds okay, and I think this sounds okay. So I think we'll roll with this, okay? And we'll go ahead and move on to our next sound. So what do you have? This deep mystery sound from 𝗗𝗙𝗣𝗏𝗙. Thought this was a pretty novice sound to use, so we'll just use this as like some background, okay? So let's go ahead and throw this in. Let's do something like that, okay? And then what we're gonna do is we just pull it down. Remember, you're not worried about music theory right now. We're just worried about getting these notes down. Sounds amazing to me. So we're gonna move on to our next sound here. So we're only gonna use 3 sounds, right? Typically when beginners start or whoever is trying to make a beat, typically don't use more than 3 sounds, okay? Because at that point it starts to get a little too complex because, you know, it's a lot going on. So let's go ahead and pick this little sound. So we have this masses for mode, this little preset here. So let's go in here and we'll try to, let's go up a bit. You know what, I'm gonna change the grid real quick and we're gonna go to 1/3. There we go. I like that. Let's see. And then let's just flip it. We're just gonna flip it just like so. So I think, matter of fact, let's do something a little different, right? Let's give a little bit more credit there. And I think this would be like a little nice little trash melody. Perfect. I like this. I think this is amazing. So what we're gonna do now is actually start our drums, okay? We'll just do this in 2 halves. Now it's time for our drums. So we're gonna go ahead and add in our 𝗖𝗢𝗣𝗏𝗙𝗥𝗦. Okay, so one thing you need to pay attention to when making these type beats is you really want to have this knob. So you want to have your volume all the way up, and when you right click, if you can see that right there, you do not want cut itself on. You want that off, okay? You don't want this checked. This is very important. So we're just gonna go ahead and throw this 𝗖𝗢𝗣𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 in, okay? Let's make this a little bit longer so we can see them, and I'm gonna change this grid back to 1/2. We can even turn this velocity up a bit too. Oh man, let's turn it down a bit. I think that's a good volume. And then we're just gonna copy it over, right? Boom. Think that's good? Perfect, I'd say. So now we need to add our drums in. So one drum that is very important with these types of beats is you're gonna need a snap. That is very, very important. So we're gonna put our snap in, and you can kind of do this however you please, but I'm gonna just kind of play around with this velocity here just to make it a little interesting, right? Boom. And then you can kind of do whatever, right? Like if you want to play around with some of these drums, let's, you know, be lazy, right? our snares in. Okay, so we'll just add a snare there, and we could do like a little snare chop right here. So we'll end it right here. Okay, and then let's go back, go in here. Now if you want to change the grid, you can, you know, if you want a more accurate one, of course, but I just kind of like to place it. Perfect. That's literally perfect. Boom, we put it on bar so it repeats. Now what we're gonna do is, honestly, I think we save the crash for later, for when we do arrangement. So now the last one, this is the most important part. If you don't do this, your trash beat is not complete and it's just not authentic to the style. So what you're gonna do is come to your hi-hat, and you wanna hold left click, and you just wanna drag it across all the way to the end, and then just make it repeat. And now you've successfully created this genre. Okay, so I think we got everything we need. Now the last thing we're gonna do before we end this is one of my favorite moves for this genre is you wanna highlight everything here. You wanna go up to here to channel options. Okay, and then you wanna go to color selected, and then you wanna click random. This is very important if you want that authentic look to a trash beat. So now what we're gonna do is go ahead and process this. Now we're gonna go over some common effects or like plugins that are used for this style. So you could do a lot here. There's a lot of plugins, and typically you want like 5 plugins per sound. That is typically what you want. But obviously for this video, I don't want to do that because, you know, CPU and stuff like that. So what we're gonna do first, because we watched our first YouTube video and they told us that if we mix in mono, our mix will sound better. So we need to put our entire mix in mono. And then also on top of that, we need to put all of our drums in mono as well. Why? That's just the style. This is how you make a trash beat. Don't ask me, it's just how it panned out. Speaking of panning, what we're gonna do is just pan sounds for no reason, just because we want to look like we're the greatest mixer ever. So we're just gonna pan these sounds randomly. Boom, that's perfect. Lastly, we're gonna just go over some of the sounds, or some of the effects that I have here for you. So first we're gonna turn this on, mute this. So now we're gonna pop up a additive EQ, right? And why we call it additive? Well, we're adding to the EQ, right? And we learned that somewhere online. So that's pretty much what we're doing here. And I'll mute so you can see the difference. Okay, so we're gonna have that, and then also we're gonna have a gross beat, because why not? All right, so we're gonna have that complex 7. Okay, and then on top we're gonna have a subtractive EQ. Okay, obviously we're subtracting, so we're just taking out frequencies we don't want, and this is after the gross beat. Perfect. Now we got this all set up, and you can add other stuff on top: reverb, delay, compressors, sound goodizer, maximus, whatever you please. But like I said, I'm gonna keep this a little simple. So now we're gonna add our next sound, and I just add a little reverb here. Okay, didn't want to overdo it. Real simple stuff. Okay, just your basic reverbs, and then this, whatever. Okay, and then you can go ahead and mix things if you want. I think our mix is pretty good already, but we'll just okay, whatever, that's good enough. Let's move on. So now that we're done mixing mono, we're just gonna peel it back a bit, and then now we have our sound goodizer on. Okay, so this is what we have. You want that on B. Okay, and then you want this, you can kind of just play with it, whatever, right? And then we're gonna have our effects for later. So we have our triplet. Okay, and then we have our stutter effect. And then at the very bottom, we really want to crush down this, right? Because we want to have our beat controlled, right? We don't want it peaking. So we're gonna turn these on, and then you can kind of play with the effects and stuff like that, but we'll just do it as we go. Keep that up there. Perfect. Okay, I think this is a perfect mix for this type of style. So we're good with the mixing. I think everything is there, and I'll just turn these on just so you can see what they sound like individually. So this is the triplets. And then we have our stutter. Oops, turn it on. All right, so now we're done with the mixing. We're gonna go ahead and finish this beat up and do the arrangement. Now we're gonna go ahead and do our arrangement. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna click here and make sure these are all at 0. So these look like this. And then what you're gonna do is right click. Okay. So after about 2 hours of searching through YouTube tutorials, what we're gonna do is finally figure out how to create an automation clip. And then we're gonna create clip here and create clip here. And then we're just gonna drag these out a bit. Okay. It doesn't really matter how long. Just drag them out. Boom. So those are set up. Now what we want to do is we'll just copy this or clone it. So there's 2 of them now, as you can see. And then we're going to split by channel. And then we're just going to drag all these in. Okay. And then you can kind of, if you want to, you can kind of pull all these out and double them up. And then we're going to highlight. Now this is a advanced trick for this type of style, but we're going to do it anyway to save time. Now, if you highlight this and you press Control B, you can copy it as many times as you need. Okay, so we're almost done here. No worries. What we're going to do, and I'll just delete this end, is zoom in, and we want to create what I like to call sauce. So what we're going to do is go to our cut tool, and we're going to cut it right here. And we're going to cut that, and then we're going to highlight all of this, and we're just going to drag this back. Like, I don't know, like here. And then we'll do something like this. There we go. Perfect. All right, so now we got that going, and we're just gonna copy this over like so, just so we have a nice little beginning. Okay, and then matter of fact, where is this drum at? Let's take our crash. Okay, and just put this in the beginning. Like so. No worries, we're almost done. And we're just gonna take out some drums randomly. It doesn't really matter which ones they are. We just need to take a few out. Okay, I think this would be a good part to like repeat. And then maybe we could take out a few of these melodies here. Okay, so this is gonna be the low part right here. And this is where the melody is just playing. And if you want to, you can start messing around with some of these stutters, right? So if you want to do like a stutter right here, I would say maybe a let's go back here. Let's go to beat. Maybe like a, I don't know if a bar would be good. Let's see. Okay, that'll be nice. So we'll actually do it here. And then we'll save this one for later. Boom. And I know it's kind of a lot going on. So there we go. I think that's good. And I'm gonna add another one right at the end, just like so. Perfect. And then right here, we can put one of these in. And then actually, I'm gonna try throwing something in like this. I want to get this right on the grid, and we'll put one in the beginning just so kind of match it, match that same little energy. Put this at 2. Boom. All right, let's see. Okay, let's listen to this one. Perfect. All right, so I think we're pretty much done with our trash beat. We'll just highlight this, pull it over so we can repeat it. Now, the last thing you're going to want to do is go up to your mixer. You want to click here. So you click on your little knob, right click and do automation clip. And then it'll send a little thing down here. Pull that back. And what we're going to do is just elongate this, and we're going to right click, hold, and drag this out like so. And yeah, that's going to be our beat. So I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll just play it from right here so you can see the dip. So yeah, that's our trash beat, and let's just play it from here. Alright, and that's going to be this video. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe for more. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.